Okay. What's up, everybody? What's going on? This is Christoph Jenkins. I'm the founder and creator of the Poet Life and the Poetry Business Network. And this is Piere Ingram. Pierre, what's going on, sir?
What's up, Chris?
Everything
Man,
good with you, man?
just dealing with some challenges and pushing through.
I
That's what
got you.
poetry is about.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
You got it right.
yeah.
Okay, guys. All right. So this is what we're doing. This is a new series. I know you know about the Poetry Business podcast, but right now this is a new series. I don't know what the name of it is just yet. You'll probably know because by the time you're watching this, you'll see the title on the screen. But I was in the midst of coaching Piere Ingram. I am a poetry business coach, and we were discussing the fact that Pierre, you just moved from where
I just I just moved from Cleveland, Ohio, to Orlando, Florida.
to
I've been in
Orlando,
Ohio
Florida.
for 40 years, and this is my first time ever moving to a new state.
Got you. So he moved from Cleveland, Ohio to Orlando, Florida, and share with them what your situation is. You flew down like between Hurricane Helene and right before Hurricane Milton.
Absolutely, yep. I didn't even know Milton was coming, but sometimes in your life, there's a hurricane coming that you'll know about.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there's storms either coming in, going out, going through. Right. So, what are we here for? We're talking about Pierre being a poet, um, having skills and gifts and talents as a poet. And because he's a poet, he has the ability to provide services to companies and organizations. And I know many of you might believe and have heard that there's no money in poetry. But this series here, whatever the title is going to be, maybe you can help us with the title in the comments. Um, but this series is going to show the possibilities of poetry, right? So Pierre is in a hotel right now, and and he is well. Share with them what happened with your job situation.
So I came down here to Florida to Orlando, and transfer. I was transferred from my security job up here because I got a transfer. But then the hurricane came, which kind of delayed that process. Which in life you're going to get things that's going to come in your way, right? That's going to not go as planned, but it's actually going as planned, right? Right? Because so I come up here and I couldn't start work. So I ran out of funds, which means I should have been a little bit more prepared. But there's a lesson in this that you got to push anyways and keep moving. And this is what poetry is about. It's about keeping it moving. So I got up here and I had to wait to start my job. So I've been going from the airport to the hotel to just I slept outside one day outside of the hotel because I had no money, so I slept on a bench outside of the hotel, and I had enough money to go home and catch the airplane home back to Ohio. And I just sat there with the money in my bank account, like I'm not going back.
Hmm. Why did you take the risk? Why did you move to Orlando? What was the motivation?
My motivation was uh, that I'm a poet and God created me to be a poet. One, with integrity. One, with the thrive to push even when things not working out my way and it doesn't look like it, but and it doesn't feel like it, but I know it's working because I've sat and thought, and I was sitting here thinking, I was like, God wouldn't put this gift of poetry in me for no reason. So I got to keep on pushing. And I realized that when you're starting a new business or you're starting new things, you have to uh, move out your comfort zone and go to new places, new environments where people don't know you, right? You don't know anyone because it's showing how much you trust God and the gift that He put inside of you. Because it's not for you, it's to help other people step into the best version of themselves. And sometimes you have to step out of your old environments and get pushed off the balcony and fly.
Yeah. Yeah. So what are we doing, folks? What are we doing right now? What we're doing is, as I shared with you, I was on the phone uh, coaching Pierre, and I was sharing with him some, you know, ways to generate income as a poet. This is our second coaching call. Our first coaching call was the same day Milton was on the way. And I didn't put two and two together. And I don't even think I knew that Pierre had flew down to Florida. When I called him for his first coaching session, he said, "Man, I just arrived in Florida." And I was like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "Oh, hold on, wait, what? Florida? Isn't that like right in the direction of Milton?" And he said, "Yeah, man, I'm at uh, this school in the gym with all of these, students and teachers and parents and I said a prayer for him, man, and on my end, and as you can see, he's doing well, and he made it through Hurricane Milton, and so now, in the aftermath, he's down there now, and he is figuring it out. And so, what I said to him tonight, instead of just having a regular coaching call, let's do an experiment. Let's go on a journey together, and let me help you from scratch in a new place, but help you help others to see that it's possible as a poet to provide a service and create income for yourself. And so that's what we're going to do in this series right now. So go along with us. And this is the first episode. Again, I don't know what the name of the series is. Again, by the time you're watching this, it might have a title. But if you have a better title, drop it in the comments. All right, Pierre, let's rock and roll, man. Let's get started, man. So I know the last time we talked, um, I shared with you the importance of packaging yourself, presenting yourself as a professional, right? Not presenting yourself as mom and pop, right? When you are sharing with whoever you come in contact with, they should already see and feel that what you do it for real. You don't, this isn't something that's a hobby, right? This is something that they can trust with you coming into their place of business and providing a service, right? And so, what's the service that we talked about? What's the service that we're packaging up? And what have you been working on recently that we can leverage and offer as a service?
I've been leveraging the art of poetry to help kids in schools express themselves, to detach themselves from disobedient behavior and disruptive behavior, to allow themselves to express themselves and detach from trauma and create from the poetry, the life that they want to live, and just be the version of themselves that the teachers are creating them to be, and aligning poetry with connecting them with their gifts and talents.
Got you. Got you. So we've discussed that poetry is a creative, attractive way to present a message. And obviously, it is a great way to express yourself, right? Not just you, but you being able to show students and people that it's a great way for them to express themselves, right? And it's important to know as it relates to trauma and even bad behavior, if you will, bad behavior. It really is a matter of energy that's been, energy and experiences that have been built up inside where you may not have had an outlet to express yourself,
And
right?
not just that, Chris, giving them a way to connect themselves to creativity and get themselves away from alcohol and drugs, which is really big right now everywhere, everywhere in different countries all around the world. Drugs and alcohol, especially fentanyl, and a lot of this stuff is in the schools. If we can connect them with poetry, a way to express themselves about what's going on at their homes, what's going on in the streets, through the form of poetry, we could give them something that's positive to do in the schools when they're out of the schools. Way to express themselves to their parents, to the teachers, through poetry, not just written poetry, but spoken word.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So Pierre for years has been using his testimony with addiction as it pertains to addiction to help other people. And
Yes.
so that's been his lane. Um, what have you been able to do with your testimony and your lived experiences?
I wouldn't be here right now. The reason why I'm here in this hotel, I told you guys that I ran out of money. And the people that know that I've been writing poetry and they know that I moved out to Florida, a couple people reached out to me to help me on my path, like Alice. Alice, somebody I met on social media. I do not even, I don't, I didn't know her at all, but she knew what I did because I speak about it. They see my videos. They see that it's just not no one hit wonder, but I take this thing seriously because it's not just a hobby. So she invested in me and she gave me some money to stay at a hotel, and she texted me just the other day, I believe in you and I know you won't quit.
You want to know who's amazing? You are. You withered that storm, Pierre. And when I just got done speaking with you, or just before we finished our conversation, and I had said, you went through this storm. It was a physical storm, and you said the most beautiful words. And I am encouraging you to put those words on paper and bring it out. And that poem right there was, it was true. It's your story. See, it's your story. And that story, oh my gosh, those words hit. They hit, they hit, they hit. You have to post it. You have to do that. Thank God you're okay. I hope everybody else out there in Florida is okay. And listen, if you're out there in Florida and you see this guy, Pierre, out there just speaking, pay attention. Thank you.
Yeah, but I've been documenting the process from me sleeping at the airport the whole time, right? From sleeping at the airport to being at the hotel, from all the way back before. Document my process when I first started using social media and using my poetry as a form of expression, expressing myself and showing people that this is not just a hobby, right? And the people that's been walking with me hand in hand through this journey know my story because I share it, right? Because it's not just for me, because you never know who who has a gift and a dream and a purpose in life that think that there's no way to use that to help others. You gotta do what you gotta do to change your life. Do it now. Don't wait. Get up and do it now. You gotta do what you gotta do. If you gotta lay on a bench, if you gotta if you gotta lay on a bench, no matter what you gotta do, get up and do it. Because it's not gonna get done unless you get up and just do it. If you're gonna move to another state. Do something different. Do something different. Because if you do the same, you're always gonna get the same. So get up. You got this. And you have to invest in yourself. Even putting yourself out there and showing the world that just not just a gift just to be thrown around, but it's actually a business, and I'm a poetry business owner to help people heal.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good, man. So the homework I gave him, you can still hear me, right?
Yes, I can hear you now.
All
It's
right.
working really good now. It's not
Great.
breaking up.
Great. The homework that I gave Pierre our last time before we got off was to create a slide deck, right? To have something digital or even physical to send and share with whoever he's in contact with, whether it is a school, an organization, a company, and that slide deck should show his experience, his skills, those who he's worked with in the past.
Yes, sir.
And this was last week, and
Yes.
Pierre did that homework. It looks amazing, and this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about presenting yourself as a professional. I want to show what he was able to produce. Let's check it out real quick. Let's see here. Let's see here how I'm gonna do this. Present, share screen, and slide deck. Okay, cool. Here we go. So let me know if you can see that.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, cool. Look how clean that looks, right? So if he's in communication with a school or an organization and he's sharing with them, the service that he provides, and they said, "Oh, awesome, that sounds amazing. I think our kids or our members would love a workshop or even just a talk, a forum. Can you send me something?" Right? So now it's not just talk. Pierre now has a slide deck that shows something very professional, shows that he's been doing this for real and not for play. And as he says, leveraging your past, poetry workshop on addiction. So I really have not reviewed this too much, but I wanted to show you clearly, how much he's been doing the work. It looks amazing. Like I said, workshop objectives: encourage self-expression through poetry, empower participants to face and leverage their past, provide tools to transform past struggles into sources of strength, inspire new life and healing beyond addiction. Awesome. I love the fact that you used the name of your brand, New Life, right? That's genius. Leveraging your past, poetry workshop on addiction by Piere Ingram. Is the workshop outline. He went so far as to produce a workshop outline so they could see, right? People are visual thinkers and learners most times, and for you to show them an example of what they would get, that says to them, man, this is the real deal, right? So I see, right, welcome and intro, poetic performance. So he's going to perform one of his poems called Addiction Condition. um, Three is discussion, having a discussion, connecting to the poem. What do they get out of it? Let's see. He has an activity. He's making the workshop, interactive. Renew your mind through poetry. Um, this is awesome, Pierre. I'll be honest with you. You exceeded my expectations, brother, for sure. Y'all check that out. This isn't a ploy. This isn't, you know, this is real deal. Like literally, Pierre is in Orlando, Florida, at a hotel by the support of one of his supporters. And I wanted you to take a look at his contact information. That's his email. That's his Facebook. That's it, even his phone number and his Cash App. All right. So if you feel led in this moment, feel free to shoot him $5 to help him out in this moment. We're doing this in real time, right? So this isn't something that's happening that happened last year. We're going to be doing this on a regular basis. As a matter of fact, um, let me stop sharing my screen real quick. As a matter of fact, on tomorrow, I'm going to find time in my schedule because now that we have a slide deck, right? Now that we have something professional to present and to send, let me know if you can still hear me.
I can still hear you.
Okay, cool. We're going to make sure that we make some phone calls tomorrow because we're up against the clock, right? I don't know how much you have or how many nights do you have?
I'm up with this one night, but
Just one night,
I'm up against the clock. But we putting in the work, man.
for sure, for
We
sure.
putting in the work. I was putting in the work from the airport, getting testimonies about how powerful the poetry is and how it's
Tell me about that. What
transforming.
did you do at the airport?
Oh, right. This the form of what poetry can do. It allows us to create things out of nothing. Right? I'm at the airport, so I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, I ain't got nowhere to go. I'm sleeping at the airport. I might as well use this time to share poetry that transforms people's lives. And I grabbed a couple of testimonials for this project I'm doing. It's called The Resiliency of a Poet, the Airport series. The Resiliencies of a Poet, the Airport series. So I went up to people I do not know and I asked them, would they help me with this social media project I'm doing? Would they read the Can I read the poem for them and they'll record me? And then after that, I recorded them giving me feedback about the poem. What can I do better with the poem? And how did this reach them and how did this touch them? And I met this guy from uh, the UK. I met this other woman from Chicago, which we're talking still. She was supposed to call me after this because she's going to help me. And this is the power of poetry and networking. I met this African guy named John, and he gave me a voice testimonial. The other woman gave me a testimonial on video, and the guy from UK. And then it was just touching on the points of how powerful and how potent that poem was that I read to them and what I can do to make it better.
Whoa, that's amazing. Okay, so what we're gonna do me a favor, send me one or two of those videos of you performing and one of the testimonials, and I'll put it in this episode.
One day at a time can start with a simple second. A minute in time turns into an hour of planning. a day of change, a week of exchanging who you used to be to who God called you to be. In a week's time, one day at a time, bitter days turn into better days. A clock without hands, time can't pass. At last, you slow down and speed up. Slow and steady wins the race. One day at a time, at a normal pace, a face with no mask. You change one day at a time at last.
Hey, how we doing? My name's Sam. Just listened to my friend here, Pierre. Just drop one day at a time. I liked how raw it was and authentic. I thought that was beautiful. I thought it was beautifully written, and I think that there's some really great lines in there that just can be expounded on just a little bit, and turned into maybe 2 or 3 more lines. And what else? Let me think. I think maybe touching base on talking about specific emotions so people can relate to it because you're saying it and not leaving it to guessing, right? Because then people won't know exactly what they should be feeling, but when you say it, then they're like, it's able to help them understand what they should feel.
Wow, where are you from, Sam?
I'm from the UK. And I live in Winter Haven next to Lakeland.
What you do for a living?
Right now, I'm just a marketer. I'm building a kingdom platform to help basically Christian business owners be found by other believers and help promote their business, help promote God's stories in their business, help build an evangelistic community, help train up a community so people know how to represent Jesus in the workplace.
Amen. Come on now. That's so great.
God bless you.
So that's awesome, man. I'm really excited for uh, what's to come. We're not gonna make this episode super long. I think we're gonna do these episodes for like probably 20 to 30 minutes, just so we can really walk through this. All right. And so let's schedule a time for tomorrow. Let's schedule a time for tomorrow to make some phone calls to some schools and some organizations where you are. So have you kind of done a recon of where you're located and what's around you? Any libraries or anything around you?
Yeah, there's schools around me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've already did my research on the school. I was at one, and I know a lot of the schools already that because I was looking up shelters and stuff. I'm like, man, I might have to go to a shelter, and I realized that during the hurricane, a lot of the schools were shelters. They was using schools as shelters. So when I was looking around, like, man, I ain't trying to be in a hotel during the hurricanes. I'm like, man, let me look for a shelter, and they just happened to be schools.
Oh, so that's how you ended up at that school.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
From Ohio.
From Ohio to begin living in Florida.
Yep.
How many days ago? 2 days?
It's about four or 5 days now.
About 4 or 5 days. We were texting back and forth, and he said, "Hey, man, I'm en route. I'm traveling to Florida, uh, Orlando to be specific." And I did not put two and two together when it's as it relates to this Milton Hurricane Milton, and he just told me that he's in Orlando, Florida. And if you recognize his background, he's in a school, well, right outside of a school, but that's where he's hunkering down with students, teachers. I would imagine. Tell them what's happening, bro.
Yeah. We're in here with students, teachers, custodians, kids from their households. They came up in here to get safe for this hurricane that's coming. Hopefully it's not that bad about the time to get here, but we'll see. We're just gonna keep praying and just walking through this.
And that's what storms do. It spreads things around. It gets things out of your life. It cleans up things that doesn't need to be in your life. That storm actually, there was a storm in my life personally I was going through that brought me to Florida. Let me say that again. There was a storm going on personally in my life that blew me to Florida. Right? So sometimes there's going to be a storm in your life that's taking you right where you need to be. It might not feel like it might not look like it, but I'm telling you, it's putting you right where you need to be.
Oh, that's heavy because this past Sunday I was at church, and that's pretty much what the sermon was about. Definitely was. I think the title of the sermon was "I didn't know I would end up here" or something like that. Yeah. So that's confirmation, man. So let's end it in this episode right here. This is a great introduction for this series, and I think people are ready and excited for you and for this journey and this story, and they're rooting for you. I'm quite sure. In the comments, drop in the comments, say we're rooting for you, Piere, and reach out to him on Instagram. You see his Instagram right there, Piere Ingram, and support him. Just let him know that you got us back, and I'm excited for the next episode where we will be making phone calls to schools to get Piere talking to the students in an environment where there are opportunities where he can leverage those opportunities and go from staying in a hotel, staying at shelters, at schools, to where he has a stable place to live and income to generate as well.
Awesome. Come on. The work don't work unless we do.
Ooh, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Piere, man, I appreciate you and your vulnerability and your transparency, man. You're going to be helping a lot of people, not just people, but poets see that there are many limitless possibilities in poetry.
Yeah.
And let's allow your journey to help as many people as possible.
And it starts with a storm.
Whew, that's heavy. Listen, y'all, go to Poetry Business Network.com and join our community. It's completely free. Poetrybusinessnetwork.com. Even follow us on Instagram at that handle. And, go along with us in that community. We have classes that teaches you how to create a career with your poetry, how to do more with your poetry. And we just want to let you know that it's possible.
It's changing
Piere,
my life.
if you can leave the people with something, what would you say?
I would say, trust the storm. Trust the storm. It's not here to take you out. It's here to create the best version of yourself through yourself. Because the thing that God has in you is ready to be let out for it to help other people grow. And you wouldn't know if you didn't go through this hurricane. Everybody got to go through a hurricane to put you right in the place where you need to be. That's it.
That's heavy. I appreciate you, man. Get some rest, and I'll shoot you a text message and let you know what my day looks like tomorrow so we can start making them phone calls. All right.
Awesome. Awesome.
All right, man.
All
Piere,
right.
get some rest, man. I'll talk to you. All right.
All right.
Appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you.